Remember the video we did recently about preparing your house for cold weather? And we weren't going to do anything to the windows because there was a warm-up? Well, that warm-up ended, and we have record cold coming this way, even colder than before. Let's go down that road. Hello, faithful people. I'm Orlene.
I'm Gary.
And yeah, we've got a real surprise coming. In the video we did before, the coldest it was going to get was in the 20s at night for a few nights, and we were going to be in the 40s during the day. Well, now we have this really cold coming in, where we're going to have highs in the teens and lows in the single digits. This is in Northeast Texas. And people are saying that this does not happen here. Well, it did this year. So we are preparing our RV a little bit more than we did before. We're going to do a few extra things that we didn't do before. And one of them is to cover our windows with a film that's made by 3M. And it shrinks onto the window and protects it. We have single pane windows on our RV. And this is going to hopefully make things a little warmer in here. This is the product we're using on the windows. It's a 3M window insulator kit. And we were not able to find it in any of the hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, or any place else in this area because nobody needs them. So we had to order it from Amazon. This is how thin the plastic is. I mean, it is super thin. But like I said in our last video about using this, it really makes a big difference on a leaky, cold window. This is what we're going to need to do. We're going to measure, and then you allow a little overlap. Then you're going to put the sticky tape around the window frame, and then we're going to apply the film to the tape, and then we'll do a blow dryer at the end. We have the insulated curtains that I made down. That's helping some. We're also going to put the plastic on this window as well, which means we have to take down our Valentine because that would be on the inside. But look at this. See the condensation? And it's just dripping. So we have to wipe all that off, get that dry, and then put the window protection on. So we're taking down the curtain rod, which was just a metal pole, copper piping that we hook up inside the valance, and then we'll have to take off the window blinds. We have to make sure everything is dry before we apply everything, because otherwise we'll have condensation in between the two layers. So we have to make sure everything gets dried off first. The directions say that you should not put it on like a veneer paneling or anything like that. We were thinking of putting it right next to this metal because the metal's cold and this isn't. But that is a veneer, so we don't dare put it on that. So we're going to try to prep the metal by putting some rubbing alcohol on the whole thing and see if that helps it stick. Making sure the glass is clear. We have the little space heater down below the table here blowing up there just to have some airflow to help the condensation from coming back before we get this applied. As we mentioned in our last video about how to keep your RV warm, we have our plastic pipes. Can you see them behind the sink pipes? They run, in our RV, they run along the wall, behind the stove, behind the refrigerator, and they go behind, down along the wall This is behind the couch, and they go all along the wall, that right very close to the outside wall. But if we keep the bottom of the couch open, if we lift this up, this is something we did when we first moved in, is we took off the panel that was on here, and Gary just made this all open, and that's to keep air to go back in there to the pipes in case we do have cold weather. So we're really glad we did that. It was originally meant to be easier for storage and to reinforce this, which it did too. So it was a multi-purpose reason that we built this frame. But now it's going to be very helpful at getting the heat back there to those plastic pipes against the wall. In the bathroom, the plastic pipes are against the wall there too, but as long as we keep this open during the night, the heat will get in there, and they should not be a problem. There's only a small area where we can't. We may end up opening this and keeping that open during the night because there's pipes down in there. The ones we're most concerned about is under the tub. Underneath the tub is a storage bay. And so when we first moved in here, Gary cut this out and made a panel. He's got it kind of stuck in there right now. He made this panel with holes on it so that air could get in there in the wintertime if needed. And we definitely need to get air in there. So we have a fan blowing in there that's blowing warm air from the space heater is behind it in the room here, so any of the warm air is going to be blowing under there, and that's just extra protection then. We also have foam in there on the door to help protect that as well.
So how does this look? Perfect.
Did you cut it already when I wasn't looking?
Well, I just held it out and figured how long it had to be.
Oh, good Lord.
And
okay.
I rolled this and cut it off of here. So you don't have to worry about it. It's a fairly straight line.
Oh, okay.
So, see? Fairly straight.
Okay.
Then all I have to do is peel off that stuff and stick it to it, but I'm going to need your help for it.
All right.
Okay. Up where you
A little above it. Above the tape. How clear this is, and we haven't even done the hair dryer on it yet, which will take out any of these little wrinkles that are left. But it's pretty tight against the tape all the way around, and then we'll trim off the excess when we're all completely done. It's nice and tight. All right, now we'll do some trimming to get off some of this excess. We're going to leave a little bit. We're going to trim it about an inch away from the window, from the tape. Gary's prepping the next one, the window that we're going to do. We were told yesterday that this cold that's coming in can sometimes disconnect or have an effect on electricity. So one of the things that's really a benefit of being in an RV versus a house is that if people lose electricity in their houses, they might have a backup of some sort, but in our case, we have propane backup. So our furnace will still run without the electricity for a while, and so will the refrigerator, and so will the pump for the water pump and things like that. But unfortunately, if we don't keep the battery charged up, those things cannot ignite. And our solar that we only have 100 watts, which would take care of that. But when they're forecasting cloudy, rainy, and snowy, we aren't going to have the sunshine to generate it. We've had a couple people from our church that have offered to bring their generators over if we need it. That'll be great if we need it, and hopefully we won't. There is a little condensation coming in through here, over there too, just a little bit. But when you put your hand on here compared to what it was like before we put this plastic on, there's no cold. You do not feel any cold coming through this at all, which is incredible. That is really good. I don't know if you can see it or not, but on the trees out here, there are icicles forming. I'll try and put a close-up on that. Isn't that lovely? Supposed to turn to snow. Birds don't seem to mind. They have been busy on the feeders today. That bell is half the size it was this morning. There's even icicles on the bird feeder. I don't know if I can you see that? Look at that. Oh my gosh. And earlier this week we went for a walk. It was almost 70 degrees just 3-4 days ago. Yep. And we went walking without jackets or anything. Oh my gosh. What a difference.
We had shirts on.
Well, yes, we had shirts on. We didn't have jackets on, I said.
Okay.
Didn't I?
You said anything.
We didn't have jackets or anything. Oh, okay. Yes. You would catch things like that. Okay. And I had to bring my heart decoration in, my twig heart thing. If you didn't see that in our other video that we did, I made this for Valentine's. And I brought it in because I'm not trusting that the duct tape on the, actually it's Gorilla Tape on the back of it. See that? Not really trusting that to hold in the rain. So we brought her in. Now for the bedroom windows, we have another story. Gary has already wiped them down and they're already getting steamed up. The window blinds are all the way up, so we could do that. We have insulated curtains on this as well, but the insulated curtains and the blinds, we still get tons of condensation on these windows. The problem with covering this up is that this window, this big one here, is an escape hatch. So we can't really put the plastic over this. Yes, we could probably rip it off if we needed to get out of here in a hurry, but we'd rather have something that's a little quicker to remove. So we have a different idea. There is a product called Reflectix, and this is basically the same thing. We could not find Reflectix anywhere in Tyler. They were either sold out or they didn't carry it because they really don't need it very often. So we went to Gander and we found this. It's 2 feet by 10 feet, so it's going to be plenty big enough to do the 2 windows in the bedroom. We're going to cut it and we're going to put some Velcro sticky things on the window frame, and then all we have to do if we need to remove it really quick is just rip it off and it won't do any damage to anything. And it is a multi-purpose foil window covering. It's made specifically for that. Now the problem we ran into is that these Velcro things are not sticking to the metal because the metal is cold. So Gary is using the hairdryer and putting them on, warming up the metal and then putting them on, and hopefully they'll stick when we do that.
So this is what we're using. It's the Velcro, comes like that, and then you just have to peel the backing off, which is pretty simple to figure out, just a little tricky to do it. And then I'm heating this up as I'm heating up the metal frame so it'll stick better. So I got them all in place, top, sides, and a couple on the bottom. And now I peeled so we can take it off in a hurry if we need to.
Okay. And hopefully we won't need to. And our other concern is we don't know, even though these are made for RV windows, we don't know if we're going to get dripping on the bottom from condensation. We're hoping not. We were talking about just having it fit in the window well somehow, but because of this division here, we'd have to do 3 separate frames. We're hoping what we did do is going to work. Gary's ready to do the second window.
Here.
So he's got the mates connected to each other. And all he has to do is stick the...
Peel them off and then stick this Reflectix onto it.
Okay. And then we'll have them both covered.
Sounds easy.
If you watched our video on the condensation problem in an RV, this is what we did in the closet. This is really getting full of water. And there's a lot of stuff still left in the paper bag part of it. But that's a lot of water in there, a lot of weight. And it's got crystals in there too, which they were not in there yesterday when I checked, so that must be ice, I'm guessing. So that may freeze up. We don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on that. And this is what we have on the window on our door. And then at night we put a blanket over the whole door. And one more precaution we're going to do is, because this is the tub. This is our great big tub, and we use it for our laundry and our other stuff. We're going to put some antifreeze down the drain, and then we just won't be using the shower, which is not a biggie because we don't use the shower every day anyway. So we'll put that down that drain, and that's the side of the house that we're the most concerned about, protecting the pipes. Hopefully now we are prepared for the worst. I don't know if I mentioned, we have 2 families at our church that have offered their generators if the power goes out. Our furnace, our refrigerator, our water pump will all work for a while on the batteries, but if the power goes off for very long and we can't use our solar because there's not going to be any sun,
Yeah.
it'll be nice to have that option if we need it, and hopefully we won't.
Yes. Our furnace would draw down the power of the batteries in just 4 or 5 hours probably overnight, because the blower takes a lot of energy.
And the last time they were without power in this area, we were not affected. So we're hoping that's a good sign. But the last time, some of our church members lost power for 10 hours, and a couple others didn't have power for a few days. And it wasn't as bad as it's what's coming.
Right. gets down below 32 degrees, it doesn't take long in a place like this to freeze up. It's going to get well below 32.
Yeah, one of the nights they're talking a low of 3. As in 3 above 0.
We're hoping for better.
Oh man, we keep checking to make sure it's going to improve. Then we talked about, Gary offered, he said, well, maybe we should, if they're going to call church off on Sunday, maybe we could plan to go someplace warmer for a few days. But we don't have time to go to Yuma's, Arizona, or to Florida right now, where it is warmer. We wouldn't make it in time. And yeah, we have to stay here and just be praying a lot that we
cuddle up.
Well, I'm not worried about us as much as I am about our pipes and our house in general.
Yeah, we'll see. We can always have the water lines blown out, aired out, or else we could put some antifreeze in them just to get through a few days. But
that means not using any water.
That is difficult, yes.
Yeah.
God willing, a week from now, it'll be a distant memory.
A fond, distant memory.
Never to be repeated.
Okay, we will let you know how this turns out. Possibly on our Facebook page. We will keep you more updated on there. Otherwise, in our next video.
Pray you are all well, warm, wherever you are.
We know a lot of our Midwest family is having way colder. They're like 20 below, and we're not going to be that cold.
God bless us all.
We have friends in Fredericksburg who had an ice storm today. We got rain out of it, but they ended up getting all ice. And they have tree branches breaking off all over the place. And someone said it looked like a war zone. So keep them in your prayers too. I mean, this is just very unusual for Texas to be having this. And people that have lived here all their lives have not seen it like this before. Spring is coming. We saw a robin today. That was always a sign of spring in Wisconsin when you saw your first robin. Hope this helped you. Hope it gave you some ideas on things you can do to keep your RV warm. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit that red button down below, and the next little bell is going to pop up. If you ring the bell and you should click on all, you will be notified every time new videos come up. Check out our Facebook page for updates, and until next time, stay warm.
God bless.